Hey guys, so craziness today with the soap. We're going to try to do less than 3 seconds of loading. This is the brush, the Taj handled Semogue Owners Club. It's a boar brush. It's got a nice medium backbone right now. You can find a good many tips here that have split. It is a fairly young boar, 20 uses, 21, 2, something like that. But you can also find plenty of boar bristles that have not split at all. So it's on its way. It's a nice brush right now. I wouldn't mind if it never changed, but it's going to get even better and better as it keeps splitting. Looking forward to it each time I use it. Fatip, it's the Piccolo handle. Special edition from Connaught Shaving with the black and gold. It did come with the solid bar as well as this base plate, which is the open comb. This finish is a special black finish that has proven, others have told me that it's a really good finish that holds up really well. The gold finish here sometimes wears away a little bit. They do sell another black metal finish razor that is not maybe quite as sturdy as this guy. I do have one of those and I think it's pretty and I like it, but I don't know too much about it being, in terms of wear. I do have my Nacet blade already loaded in it. We'll show you that a little bit later. This is Austere August and I am using the same gear all month, and so I have my Nacet blade. I've gone over 300 with it, and so here's the counter. So today is 313. And Vetiver, Martin de Candre is the scent that we're using in the soap. I look back at yesterday's video where I loaded for 3 seconds and I counted the number of swirls and it was approximately 13 by the 2 times that I tried to count it. And so let's start and count swirls by now instead of counting seconds, since we're getting to such a small measure of seconds and it just happens so quickly. I did not take a shower today, and so I'm going to definitely get my face wet. This is less than 24 hours away from my last shave, so it should be a really easy one. Trying to get back on track and a good schedule for nightly shaves. All right. The brush has been soaking for a few minutes. That's what I do like to do for boar brushes. Oh, and the post-shave, as usual, Integrity is the name of the scent. It's their unscented, and this particular one is the menthol-free from Soap Commander. And it's a very good balm. If I have oily skin, I don't really need a good balm. Just an average one will do for me. And often just an alcohol splash does for me as well. But if you have dry skin, this is a good one to try. Zingari Man is another really good balm that's out there. Let us, what should we do? Go down to 10 seconds? 8 seconds? I'm sorry, 8 swirls? Why don't we try 8 swirls? Let's just do that. I'm using a medium wet brush. I could start to vary things by maybe reducing all the extra water that comes over by coming at it with a drier brush. We'll maybe save that for another day. I'm just going to keep with my current brush wetness technique, which is to shake most of the water out so that I call it a lightly wet brush. So a lot of the drops have kind of stopped. Here we go. It's the height of the soap. Let's try 8 swirls. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that is a crazy low amount of swirls. I didn't really have very much overflow from the soap. Doesn't really look like that much is on the brush, but maybe I need to do more, but let's just try 8. I can always go back to the puck, and then next time I'll try 10 swirls, You can play with it like that. Now look at this. Let's see what's going to happen here. It's a very concentrated soap, so a little goes a long way. And look, we've got, it's a high structure soap, so it does tend to kind of puff up. So let's just see what happens here. I got 6 passes of lather from 13 swirls yesterday. So maybe somewhere between 8 and 13 swirls is a number that wastes less product. Of course, if we're talking about the difference, but let's say the magic number is 10 swirls. Let's say 8 is not quite enough, but look what we've got so far. Let's say the magic number is 10. So how much more soap are you picking up in 3 extra swirls? Maybe it's not anything to worry about, you know, in terms of conservation. Yeah, this is definitely less soap than I've been dealing with lately. But it's, you know, it's not as I thought it would be less. So let's add 1 teaspoon. 8 swirls. I'll tell you what, I know I've got at least 2 passes of lather right here. See what kind of elasticity we're dealing with. I think I'll keep adding just a bit more water. Barely saw any soap on the brush. 8 swirls of soap. I mean, I think that's, let's say 12, just to make the math easier. 12 swirls was 3 seconds of loading. So 8 is going to be 2/3 of that. So 2 seconds. So this is 2 seconds of loading. It's holding itself up pretty easy. It's not too elastic. Let's add just a little bit more water. Although what I rinsed off my fingers just now was kind of weak. Yeah, let's go ahead and... So that's 2 teaspoons of water. 3.5 teaspoons is what I used yesterday for the 3-second load or 13 swirl load. Doesn't really look like it's too wet. This is crazy. This is nuts. That's plenty of lather. I think that's plenty of lather. Oh my goodness. All right, get my face wet one more time. Also, one side benefit of narrowing down the right load amount. Obviously, there's the main benefit of conserving your soap and making your money go farther. Wasting less product, sending less soap down into your sewer system can be construed as a good thing. But also less time spent working the lather, because that's less water you have to add, less time spent watching it come together. Swirls. It's definitely not as concentrated as my first pass has been as of late, but with a bowl I can always go in. I feel like maybe there was some water in the brush that didn't quite get made into lather, so you can see it kind of weakened everything. So we'll just go back in to the lather bowl and get some more lather. Yeah, this is a wetter load than I've been using lately, so I was kind of right to stop. But it'll be serviceable. MdC does a pretty good job of still giving you some slickness even though it's wet, overly wet. Yeah, that's a wet, drippy lather. All right. So it turns out I did overwater this one just a touch. Looks like. That's all right. Okay. And before we forget, let me show you the blade. Gillette Nacet. And it does have, right here you can see the bend in the blade that it picked up on use 225, and then just near the center of the blade, right around here, you can see the dots that I've placed there kind of from the beginning. If I hold it tight to the top cap, we can keep that alignment there, usually. Let's see if I was able, nope, I let it move a little bit. So I release the tension a little bit on the handle, and there we go, back to alignment proper. All right. With a wet lather like this, it is going to be drippy like that. And if you haven't shaved with a drippy lather like this, you really should. You should give it a shot. Some people really like it. Some, the good soaps, will still behave themselves when they're this drippy. And you may find it's slicker. It gives you a smoother shave. This is very comfortable since I am shaving with less than 24 hours of growth. Or tomorrow I expect to be shaving about this time, so we've kind of gained back the time I missed earlier when I had a more harsh shave. All right. It's drippy. I look like a statue at a park, right? All right. I am going to rinse. Let's say you have overwatered your lather like me. What can you do? Dry your face before you put the next pass. Normally I leave my face a little wet after the rinse, but give it a dry. Then some of the moisture that's in the lather will absorb into your skin and will help your lather to be less drippy. So I definitely lost some lather because it dripped away. So I may try the 8 swirl load again tomorrow, but maybe I'll just move right up to 10. And if I get an excess of lather with 10, then maybe I'll come back to 8. But as we have been saying, it doesn't take a big old thick layer of lather to get you a good shave. Because all that matters is that thin layer that's right next to your skin. Because that's what's protecting you. Now sometimes if you like to use razors that are a little more aggressive and sometimes you can use a lather that's more thick. You can intentionally run it a little drier, give it enough time on your face to really soak in, give it extra time to kind of bond with your skin, but that extra viscosity can help the thicker, can help the more aggressive razor to feel better on your skin. So that's something to try sometimes. But that's not how I like to shave. I like to shave with mild razors, and I like to keep it smooth. You know, I could try catching this lather and moving it to places that need it since I'm a little bit low, but the point of all my shaves is to kind of have kind of a normal shave at play. And if the lather isn't enough kind of shaving normally, then it's just not enough, and that's something we know about, you know. I kind of don't want to do caveats like, well, you know, 8 seconds. See right there, I went against the grain. That was exactly against the grain because I wasn't thinking, and it just immediately gave me some irritation. Time will tell if I get a cut from that. But some people can't go against the grain, and I'm one of them, it seems. On my neck, at least. I could do it on my face if I wanted to, but I get a really close shave on my face anyway. All right. Well, let's rinse such as it is. Like after the first pass, I did dry my skin with a towel. And we are going to be trying to use every last bit of lather that we have. So if I was a starving college student and I needed my soap to go really far, looks like the 8-second load, 8-swirl load, aka approximately 2 seconds load, might be the one to go with. And there we go. At this hydration, at this kind of minimal quantity, you're not going to get good secondary slickness. So you would want to re-lather before hitting an area again. Got a little bit more of a shadow right there than I want. Let's just see. Here's one practice to get every last drop of lather out. I don't usually do this because I usually kind of have a leftover plethora of lather. Yeah, I just had a bunch of water in my brush that kind of washed out my lather. So we'll give this an extra pass here. This is my my trouble area. Had to really work to figure out the best strokes for this area. All right, feels good now. Okay, final rinse. And let's go ahead and put on, while my face has a little bit of moisture in it, the balm. And I am not feeling that area down here that I said had maybe gotten a little irritation, so must have just been minimal. Something that just lasted for a few seconds, and that was it. And there we go. All right, guys, maybe we'll try 10 seconds tomorrow and fall back to the 8 and maybe hydrate it a bit less next time. 2 teaspoons of water, I believe, is what I don't think I had to refill it and went all the way to 4. That would be odd, wouldn't it? I think just 2. And here is how much lather we have left over. All right, that's hilarious. So let's put away my gear. I believe a YouTube user named Refined Edge recently stumbled across my channel, and he popped in with the somewhat typical question of why are you using a blade so many times? And I gave him kind of the first 4 main answers that I've been given to most people that come to me right away. And that's, reiterate them here, because some of you guys are new as well. I'm just purely scientifically curious how many shaves I can get with a blade, with a single blade. Reasonably comfortable and reasonably close are my standard. And that's what I'm curious about. How many? I started out just hoping it would go through the month of August, and that was in 2018. And we're still going. Not consecutively, I do take breaks because it would be really boring to use the same one all the time, although it would get everything done quicker. The second thing was because I like to see people improve their technique, because I firmly believe that my technique with the razor, as in a light touch, primarily, technique with the lather, really wet lathers that keep everything very lubricated. The more lubricated things are, the more that edge moves across the skin without wear, without as much wear. And that's not proven by me, but it seems logical, and that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm guessing at. 3, to try to break that myth that is so circulated among people. New guys come into this hobby, come into this style of shaving. Maybe they don't even consider it as a hobby. They have one blade. I mean, they have maybe some blades. They have one razor, one soap. They use it till it's done. Then they buy another one. It's very practical for them. And that's awesome because it can save them a ton of money. But it'd be great if they also weren't advised every single time that, well, 3 to 5 shaves, then throw it away. You know, that's just the mantra that so many people use. Some people might say 5 to 7 shaves and throw it away, you know, but it's this small amount, and it doesn't have to be. In most cases, we've had guys take blades to 100 that had thick man beards, that just the stubble was very thick and coarse. And so just because you have a harsh or rough beard doesn't mean you're ineligible. So if I can just combat that myth and encourage people to just go until it's uncomfortable for you and then pitch them. Of course, there's no pressure because blades are cheap. We're not doing this for the money. If you want one and done, if you want to do that, but I would encourage you not to tell people that that's the way they should do it as well. To give them other options. Tell them that some people get a lot of uses out of blades. Just, you know, try it, see what works best for you. And then lastly, the 4th reason I said was there are some people out there who have very tight budgets, and I'm so glad to bring them the news that they can take a blade and make it last a long time. And that may actually let them be able to buy in maybe a 100-pack, because that's one of the best ways to save, to buy an expensive blade that is almost indulgent for them. Because maybe they're in college and they have no money. Maybe they're just hard on their luck. Maybe that's just where they find themselves in that season of life. Maybe they've got a huge family to support and they've got other things to do with their money that are higher priority. And so what if they are now that they know, boy, I could go 40 uses on this Kai blade or this feather blade, which is normally really expensive and I wouldn't even think about it. But if I could get 40 uses out of it, which is reasonable, at least for me, currently got, I think, 60 on my feather, then that blade becomes a super budget blade when it's used that many times. And so it just gives some freedom, hopefully, to some people with a tight budget. And so those are the main things that jump into my head, why I'm doing this. But the main one, really, how long will this Nacet go? I'm so curious. Anyway, just wanted to kind of reiterate that for those of you who may not know. Well, the face feels fine. I'm not getting any negative feelings from this region. I've got a reasonably close shave. I'm happy with that. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to keep on our schedule of the nightly shave instead of waking up and having to do it in the morning. All right, guys. I went and towel stropped and dried out the brush, and I've been kind of wanting to show it after every shave. I think I've forgotten to do that the last few shaves. But this is what he's looking like. Big old bloom. The Owners Club is known for a big bloom like this. And see all these tips here? They are going to multiply. The ones on the outside, I've even seen some bristles that have split into 3 tips. And so as that happens more and more through the knot, you'll get the density here starting to increase. You'll see less space between the tips. Pretty cool, and that means it's getting softer and softer. All right, guys, everything's cleaned up, and I hope there's been something good in this video for you to help you out. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Feel good, don't have any irritation or cuts or anything like that. The balm is sometimes nice if I make a mistake. Like right over here, I know that it's helping me out there. And feeling good. Another successful shave. I guess it's the 11th of August, the 11th shave of the Austere August. So about 20 more to go since 31 days. All right, guys, take care. Have a good night.